Hello.
Hi, this is Ricky Gervais, and you're listening to the Radio Times podcast. No idea why. You must have a very, very empty life. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the RadioTimes.com podcast. My name is Tim Glanfield, and today we are talking about Game of Thrones. I am joined by Hugh Fullerton, our sci-fi editor.
Hello.
And Paul Jones, deputy editor of RadioTimes.com.
Hello.
Less than a month ago now until Game of Thrones final season, and that's a sad thing, isn't it, for those of us who...
Yeah, it's less than 2 months till there's no more Game of Thrones.
It is certainly bittersweet, isn't it? Thinking,
wow,
a new story is about to start. It's the kind of the whole thing of life and death and mortality, isn't it, really? It's like when I think, I've got a holiday starting in a couple of days, and I think...
I've got one ending in 16
days. In 2 weeks,
days.
It'll be over.
Yeah.
That's the kind of negative person that I am.
There's been 2 years, or not quite 2 years, but almost 2 years of like incessant excitement and waiting for the fans. But then it's going to be over in a flash. You know, it's 6 weeks. It's, that's what school holidays when you're a kid, just, school holidays of Game of Thrones. But it's done. I mean, they're doing a prequel, so it won't be done, but, the main series.
So it's back on the 15th of April in the UK.
That's right.
14th of April in the US. It's going to be on at 2 a.m. And of course, you're going to be out watching it, aren't you, Hugh?
I am. That's the plan. Going to be continuing with the RadioTimes.com Game of Thrones live blog, which we've done for the last 2 seasons. So I'll be very sleep deprived, wearing lots of costumes, and I might also live blog, depending on how.
Well, you might just put the costume on and watch it alone.
I mean, I'm normally very sleep deprived and costumed on the weekends, so it's just it just happens I have a computer with me.
Just going to welcome hundreds of thousands of fans to come on that journey with you.
Yeah.
Well, we're all very much looking forward to your live blogs again, reading them in the morning, of course. I'm not staying up all night.
We're not savage.
I'm not mad. So what's happening in Game of Thrones? Where have we left it? Where have we left it at the end of the last series? Because it was a long time ago, and I've forgotten.
Well, there's not quite as much spread in the stories as there used to be, which is helpful.
It's kind of coming together, isn't it?
It is coming together.
The point, I guess. Most
of our characters are now up in Winterfell or en route. So Jon and Daenerys are now sort of a couple, which is good. What's less good is that they're related. He's her nephew, which neither of them know yet, because that would also slightly ruin her claim to the throne. But yeah, Jon and Dany on their way up to Winterfell to start the defense against the army of the dead, where they'll find Bran and Sam, who'll tell Jon that he's the rightful king and Daenerys' his nephew and the son of Lyanna Stark and not Ned Stark's bastard. So that's going to be a bit of a mess for him. And then I think pretty much all our sort of quote unquote good characters are up there: Tyrion, Varys, Missandei, Grey Worm, the Unsullied, all that lot. Brienne, Davos. We also know that probably coming to Winterfell and certainly surviving, we'll have Tormund, Beric, and Ed from the Night's Watch, who we thought might have died at the end of the last series, but they're okay. We saw them in the trailer. And then down in King's Landing, we've got Cersei is double-crossing everybody. She said she was going to come up to the north and help fight the White Walkers. Actually, lol, no, sorry, she's not doing that. She's instead sent her pal Euron off to hire some mercenaries, and she's going to attack them while they're distracted, or wait for them to get killed by the zombies.
I mean, presumably you see the outcome of that. They win, they're depleted. You just pick them off, or they lose. Well, everyone's screwed, I guess.
Yeah, it's not entirely well thought out plan in typical Cersei fashion.
Even though she's seen one of the White Walkers, or the Whites, she doesn't seem to be fully taken on what this means, does she? If there was an army of hundreds of thousands of them.
I mean, I think the problem was that they showed them being quite easy to kill with fire and these little daggers. And, it's quite different when you've got about, 100,000 of them running at you going, bah. And then I think that's pretty much everyone. Euron's off to get the Golden Company. Jaime and Cersei have split up. Jaime's going north with the other nicer characters because he made a vow. And the Night King has burned down part of the wall with his resurrected dragon, and he's marching all his pals down towards Winterfell. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're going to string that out. We've heard that it's episode 3 that they finally arrive. He's got a dragon, he can fly. Don't know how it's going to take him that long to get there. Maybe he'll do some donuts.
But I mean, it would take them, he'd have to wait for them to walk, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's
just going to be showboating. Yeah,
he just sort of be like tapping his foot, come on, lads.
Well, he gets there early and then thinks, wait a minute, where's my army? Oh no. And then they pick him off, and then all the army falls down.
That's the theory,
dead.
yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much where we landed. Really.
Very good. And
Tracy there.
Tracy there. Don't think I could have done that myself off the top of my head. So well done. You got the right sci-fi editor, didn't we?
Well, I was going to say as well, we have an article on the Radio Times website which breaks down where we left everybody by character, slightly more depth.
I imagine you've cheated by both writing and reading that.
That is true. I wrote it and I read it back and I was like, this is brilliant. This will be handy. So yeah, you can check that out on radiotimes.com and we'll hopefully pop a link somewhere.
We would say radiotimes.com/got-catch-up.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be there.
Let's do it.
Catch-up.
Not to be confused with radiotimes.com/got-ketchup, which is our service for anyone looking for any condiments of their choice.
It's a little side hustle you got going there.
It is, yeah. Don't tell anybody.
So what? That's where we're at the end of the last series. What do we know about Series 8 so far? What have we seen? Trailers, snippets, things people have said.
The biggest thing we know is that we know kind of how the first 3 episodes are going to unfold. So the first episode, we'll see Jon and Daenerys arrive at Winterfell, which we've seen a bit of in the trailer, and kind of everyone unite and get to know each other. And it's imagined that that's when they'll get warned by the surviving Night's Watch people, White Walkers are on their way. Episode 2 is apparently quite a restrained, quite an introspective episode, which might be a kind of eve of battle kind of thing, because it's been officially confirmed that episode 3 is the big one.
That's episode 9. Episode 3 is episode 9.
Yes, I'm with you on that. Yeah. Normally episode 9 is the episode that has the big battle scene.
There is no episode 9.
There is no episode 9.
So they had to make it episode 3.
It's divisible, at least. So basically, it's a really extra long episode. It's about an hour and 22 minutes, I think, which I think is the longest one yet.
That is, yeah. That's huge.
And we've seen clips of it in the trailer. It's basically everybody fighting off the White Walkers at Winterfell, and they've talked a bit about how long it took them, about something like 2 months to film, hundreds of extras. Apparently people looked like they were dying because they had to film it all at night, so they had about 2 months of night shoots. It's definitely going to be like one of the biggest, if not the biggest battle
less
ever committed
makeup,
to film.
I guess.
Possibly. Why less makeup?
Work so people so hard that they look like they're dying.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it was the cameraman. So right. We've wasted it. We've wasted them on the cameraman.
So we think that episode 3 could largely be a battle, most of the episode.
Basically, I think pretty much the whole thing.
I think we're looking at them winning that battle then, aren't we?
I don't know, because
Or you just think that's a mass. It's either they win or a load of major characters get wiped out in episode 3.
I think definitely we're going to see some character deaths in episode 3. The fact that episode 2 is supposed to be a kind of sitting around chatting episode suggests some people will kind of they'll remind us of their connections to each other, which will make it more sad when they die.
Yeah.
And there'll be some characters who meet for the first time and people die.
Exposition.
But I think that they have to lose a bit in episode 3 because there's 3 more episodes. And I feel like if they're pushed back, they don't lose entirely, but they're pushed back, they have to retreat south. And then maybe they fight them again at King's Landing, say.
With Cersei,
or, having taken over from her. I also have a little theory about what might happen in episode 3, which I'm not the only one to think this, but we see a clip of Varys in the Winterfell crypts, which is, ever since the first episode, we've seen them. There was a whole teaser trailer this year involving them. Basically, it's where the Starks bury the Stark lords and other significant members of the Stark family after they die. So Ned Stark's down there, Lyanna Stark, Jon Snow's real mother, is down there, and lots of other Starks. And the kings in the north before they were just lords. And basically, my thought was, definitely, right, the Night King's going to be like, oh, there's some potential soldiers within the castle.
So Ned Stark is going to turn into is going to. If everyone always wanted him to come back, but they never thought of him as coming back.
It would be very Game of Thrones to turn. And then the fans wish to have Ned
Jon
Stark
having
back.
to fight his own dad.
Yeah, and
his undead dad.
That would be brilliant. Right?
There's a clip in the trailer of Arya running scared through what looks like the corridors of Winterfell, and it's hard to imagine what would scare Arya, but maybe her dad coming back from the dead would do it. For most people wonder, Ned was obviously executed in King's Landing, but in season 2, his bones are sent to Winterfell, so we know that he is buried there. Other Starks aren't, so I don't think Robb or Catelyn are.
Can you kill a white by cutting its head off? You can't, can you?
Well, they've already done that, so
I know, but like,
no,
can you resurrect a headless person?
I think so. I'm not sure. I mean, they might have put the head back on the body post-mortem anyway. I'm sure they didn't affix it. But
it was on a spike for a long time.
It was. I'm not sure if the head was included in the returned bones, but
no, I think
we'll find out.
He's got no head. I think you'll find.
That's true. Ned, no head, is dead.
We're talking the science of resurrection.
So I think that episode 3 is going to be one for the ages. But then there's 3 more episodes after that. And we don't really know that much about any of them. They've been quite tight-lipped about what to expect. So that's exciting. I would bet that there's another big battle scene. We've heard rumours that there's a very special dragon sequence this year. The Night King has a dragon. Daenerys has at least 2. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some dragon v dragon.
At least 2?
At most.
No, I mean, I just thought you knew.
I mean, there is a little theory that there are dragon eggs.
Surely not another theory.
But I won't go into that.
It took a while to grow, though, didn't they? Those dragons.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not going to be much use if you've got little ones. Daenerys has a couple of dragons. The Night King has a dragon. So I would not be surprised if we saw some dragon fighting action.
I mean, we need to see dragon on dragon, don't we? We need to see that.
It's been teased for years in the books and stuff. Like there was this whole Targaryen civil war back in the day where they fought on dragons, and that sounds awesome. So
we've got Drogon, the toughest dragon, arguably, or I think not. He just is, right?
Yeah, he's the biggest.
He's still a normal live dragon.
Yeah, and
he's
I'm sorry.
No, he would be fighting Viserion,
Viserion's the one who got killed, and then Rhaegal is the green one who is also still alive. And there's a theory among fans that once Jon finds out his heritage, which we're expecting in the first episode or second episode,
he's going to end up riding Rhaegal.
Partly because Rhaegal's named after his father, Rhaegar, who was Daenerys' brother. So there's a kind of nice connection there. Equally, it could be that Rhaegal will die, but this time they'll burn the body, so then it's just one dragon v one dragon, which might be quite...
Riding on your dad while sleeping with your aunt,
who's riding someone named after her ex-husband.
It's a bit sick, isn't it?
It's a bit weird, but that's Game of Thrones. We've been primed for it.
Why I was asking that about the dragons was, Drogon's the toughest, but I wonder how he'll fare against Viserion. I wonder if you're Viserion, are you're going to have extra strength as a zombie
I don't
dragon?
know. Generally speaking, the corpses have seemed fairly spindly, as in they seem like, they haven't got a lot of nutrition. They've not got great muscle tone. So I would imagine he's fairly recently dead, though. The one thing that is interesting is I think he'd be quite difficult to kill, because normally you can kill whites with fire, but dragon skin is presumably fireproof.
And I would so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so that would presumably carry on post-mortem.
But then fire on an undead dragon might be different.
It's true. I mean, he's still blowing fire, which suggests he's not that vulnerable.
Well, yeah, but it's
blue.
But it's blue fire. Is it fire? It's not really fire.
I think it's hotter than fire, than I think orange fire, like a Bunsen burner.
Oh, you mean like gas?
Yeah, you've got a Bunsen burner and you turn
Night King's cooking with gas now, boys.
It goes blue, doesn't it? When it's really hot, that's when you want to boil.
It's an interesting thing talking about how eventually they do fall apart. Though it's like he could be in a bit of a race. The Night King could be in a bit of a race against time to kind of get up there, beat everyone, get to King's Landing or wherever he wants to go before Viserion kind of starts to fall apart. Because I wouldn't want to be on the back of one of those things where bits are falling off, It's
true. I mean, we've got to think about this. He's had his army north of the wall. It's freezing, very well preserved up there. He's been keeping them frosty.
That's true.
Now he's going to be, I mean, it's winter everywhere, so maybe that's why he was waiting. But even if he tries to go to Dorne...
if after 8 series, that was what happened.
They all just
melt. They fell apart in the sun or whatever, yeah.
That's why he waited this long.
That would be a twist.
Brilliant.
That would be great. Just
the end frame would just be the Night King would doing a big face palm.
Just going, yoicks.
Oh.
Better luck next time. They would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for these meddling Starks.
So what do we want from the ending then? I mean, we talk. Yeah, I mean, actually, it's just that, isn't it? I mean, do we want to find out what the Night King was up to all along? You never do find out these things, do you?
I don't know, because I've heard tell that we will find out their motivations a bit more this year. And there is, in the very first version of the pilot, they did have the White Walkers speaking to each other in a language that they made up, which they haven't used since. And they ended up cutting it. But there has always been a suggestion that they do have, some sort of culture. They do have a reason for what they're doing. But I kind of like that we don't know why they're doing it. They're just, it's sort of more like, I don't know, it feels more elemental.
I've always thought it's hard to see an end game for the White Walkers, because if you do kill everyone in the world and turn them into your undead army, then where are you going next? And how much fun?
The top, you've got to stop.
How much fun?
That's what's bothering me.
How much fun is it hanging out with those undead?
Yeah, exactly.
Army kind of thing.
I mean, and it's sort of like, would he then try and just go to Essos and do it again? But then it's like,
I forget there's places beyond.
Yeah, but then it's like it's the same thing though. It kind of, I mean, there's a question on whether is it revenge for something that's happened? Have people
for them
unknowingly
being created, isn't it?
Yeah, well, maybe this is the only way he can not be the Night King anymore, is by doing something. We saw that he was a human who was turned into the Night King. Maybe the humans in Game of Thrones violated some sort of ancient treaty that they don't even know.
You think you're in Game of Thrones, don't you?
I do, yes. We must unite.
There's
no time for that.
You weren't in Game of Thrones.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm torn because I think it would be interesting to learn the reason, but I feel like nothing can be as good as whatever you have made up in your head.
No, true.
Which is true of the ending.
So what do we want to see in the meantime? Between the start and the end of this series,
the middle, hopefully.
Your stuff.
I'd like to see some more flashbacks. We saw some flashbacks.
So you want to see some stuff from before?
Basically, yeah. There's been some like rumors that they'll get the young actors who played Rhaegar and Lyanna back, just to do some more sort of Bran's looking into the past flashback dreams. It would just be kind of nice to see that fill out a bit more, because these are characters that you only ever hear about in retrospect, in the books or on TV, and it's kind of interesting to see them in.
I don't know if I feel the same way that you feel about the Night King about that. Actually, I'm happy for that to not be gone. I feel like, I don't know, it might be a bit boring. I like it as a sort of, you hear snippets. We're kind of like finding out a little, it's rumory and stuff. I don't know if I want to see their love and stuff like that.
I'm not sure if I want to see that, but I don't know. I'd just be kind of interested to see kind of fill in the gaps a bit more about how it all went down, because it's been a big mystery for fans since the 1990s. What's the deal with Jon Snow? Who are his real parents? And that's kind of been solved, but I'm just sort of like, but what was behind all that? Was there more to it?
I tell you why I wouldn't mind seeing more flashbacks, because I just want to see more of the baby Jon Snow with it's just the furrowed brow that they must have CGI'd in, or was it prosthetic?
I don't know.
Did they just find a baby that was brooding like that?
I mean, it was in some amazing baby casting.
Either way, I find him very cute and amusing.
Yeah, he's pretty old now, right? That was in 2016. He's pretty
well, we need to see what does he look like now.
Where are they now? Yeah. Jon Snow baby.
That's what we're all asking.
Get an interview set up.
You want to see? There's a few classic things we want to see. I would have thought you want to see the Game Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. Last series, it was teased that the Hound and the Mountain would fight, which is something the fans have been sort of joking about.
Them being brothers.
Yeah, they are brothers. They've got a lot of history. The Mountain scarred the Hound's face. The Mountain's now a zombie. We've all been there, families.
It just feels like in that one, the Mountain's just got that easily, because he's just so like he's
massive,
all big and like zombie-like now. He's just superhuman. That's an advantage.
Is he slower now? Maybe could that be?
He's a big guy, but he's out of shape.
He's a bit dead.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also, there's a sort of suggestion that the Hound has this connection to Melisandre's god, the Lord of Light. Now,
well, that would be handy,
because he sees visions in the flames and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So I think there's some people have suggested that quite a cool ending point would be the Hound's always been very scared of fire ever since it burned his face, and we see that throughout the series. Quite a cool thing would be if the Hound takes on the Mountain with the flaming sword.
I was just going to say, with Beric's short sword.
Like, that would be quite a kind of cool thing. And also, he's been connected to like Beric and Thoros since series 2 or 3. So
the Hound at once overcomes his phobia and beats his brother.
Yeah, basically and it's kind of cathartic, because his brother gave him that fear of fire, and by conquering that, he conquers him.
Have some fire back.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, Game Bowl would be cool. I'm just quite excited as well to see characters meet who we've not seen before, or have characters reunite. Jon and Arya, we saw they had one scene together more or less in episode 2 of the first series, and it was a really sweet scene, and we saw their relationship, and we've not seen them on screen together since. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing them reunite. I hope it's good. I hope there's no like needlessly inserted drama between them,
like them fighting their zombie dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would that be needless? That would be great.
I meant more like between the two.
The interesting thing about Jon meeting Arya is going to be how much she's changed. Yeah. And like what a hard ass she is now, what his little sister, that's going to be a bit of a shock to him, I would have thought. I mean, it'd be pretty kind of cool maybe, but that will be funny to watch, I would have thought. You
could imagine him being a bit sad at her loss of innocence and all that stuff, like he was.
You could imagine him furrowing his brow.
Yeah. Never knowingly unfurrowed. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. And, we're seeing Daenerys meet people like Sansa and Arya. I think Daenerys and Arya meeting for the first time is probably quite a cool meeting.
So is she their aunt?
No,
of course not. No, what I'm talking about, because they're not related. They're different.
She's vaguely related to them, I guess, by marriage. It's their aunt is Jon Snow's mother.
Yeah.
And I guess she's sort of their like aunt in law, maybe. No, doesn't really work. But anyway, yeah.
Have you drawn the family tree and put it on the website yet?
I haven't, but I can do.
Well, I think this is for the whole thing. It's been who's going to sit on the Iron Throne, right? We're talking about what we'd like to see at the end. Who do you want to see sit on the Iron Throne?
I have a double thought on this. That's a good way of describing it. A double thought. I'd like to see Jon be king because I think I kind of like those sort of heroic, self-sacrificing characters, and I think that would be kind of a nice through line. But I also don't think there will be someone sitting on the Iron Throne at the end. I think if there's any message in Game of Thrones, it's that monarchy is not very good. And you see, there's been this through line of the common people suffering no matter who's in charge. It would be great to say, oh, Daenerys would be a great queen, but then what if she has a son or a daughter or a grandchild who is awful, and then they're just as bad as Joffrey? I think that maybe the sort of grand endpoint will be something a bit more like the Night's Watch have, or even the Ironborn have, where there's something a little bit, not a democracy exactly, but something a little less feudal. On the other hand, I could be entirely wrong. And it could be that there'll be someone horrible on the throne, and that will be the kind of bittersweet ending. Mankind lives on.
You think there could be a symbolic kind of melting of the throne at the end, and perhaps with fire.
If there's dragons,
dragonfire, that's lovely.
If there's dragons going on,
if that's the ending, you heard it here first.
Yeah, I think there's been they've been doing quite a lot of pushing of the throne stuff in the marketing as well. They've been like, here's everyone sitting on the Iron Throne, and the hashtag is for the throne. It's all been for the throne, which makes me think that that's not the point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a diversion.
Yeah, cool.
What about you, Paul? Do you think anyone will sit on the throne? Anything will sit on the throne?
Well,
will there be a throne still?
I mean, now you've said that, I'm thinking not. I'm thinking pool of metal melted by dragonfire. That would be pretty cool.
Someone sit on that.
Yeah, sit on that. It's never looked comfortable at the best of times.
That's definitely a medieval form of torture, isn't it?
Yeah. I always jokingly say that I would like to see Bronn on the throne because I like Bronn and I know that he just wants to rule and, well, not rule really, just sort of, sit on a throne and have people bring him stuff.
Yeah.
I just had this thought. It's just one of those images which, for some reason, I like, which is the Night King on the throne, and then next to him, Cersei, but like all whiteified, also on the throne, ruling with him. I don't know how it happened because obviously I don't think you can turn an adult into
I'm not sure. It's a bit unclear.
A White Walker if you can, but that's sort of.
But the entire cast sitting around him, just him on the throne in the middle.
Everyone's a White Walker now, yeah.
Or like the Last Supper.
And all laughing, yeah.
Yeah.
Haha, well that didn't turn out very well.
Yeah, and the last thing is they were just laughing as it fades out. Yeah, that's
it's definitely
cool.
Going to fade.
My other idea for an ending. I mean, you watch the opening credits and lots of people have picked them apart and sort of looked at stuff we've seen in the Citadel and so on and kind of said, well, this is one of the what do you call the people at the Citadel? Maesters. Looking through his glasses at a map and telling this story.
Because the sun is like an astrolabe, is that what it's called?
Astrolabe, yeah. And you see, you are looking at one point through spectacles like we've seen the Maesters wearing there. And so it's kind of like someone's telling this story, and at the end you're going to come full circle, and it's going to be the person telling the story, and that could be Sam, it could be another Maester, could be Sam, old Sam, as played by George R.R. Martin.
I've heard this, yeah.
Fade to Black. Well, I invented that.
Did you really?
I invented that.
He has said that he's not doing a cameo this year, but wouldn't he say that?
Wouldn't he?
That's what he'd say, yeah? You can't believe anyone.
Well, there's some excellent endings there, aren't there? People, I wonder if any of those happen. If they do,
copyright.
Do write in and congratulate us.
Yes, please do.
So that's Game of Thrones. That's going to be on.
that's finished now.
We've summed that up well. I think
15th of April in the UK, 2 a.m. Join Hugh Fullerton live.
Yeah. So it's on Sky Atlantic in the UK, and it will be repeated at 9 p.m.
And if you're listening in America, that'll be on the HBO at 9 p.m. I believe.
HBO and HBO Go.
14th.
Depending on your, time area. Your time area.
Yeah. According to your time
zone.
Time zone?
Yeah.
But wherever you are, Hugh will be there live with you.
Yeah.
So it'll be the night time here, but it'll be just the early evening in the Americas. So,
yeah.
Either way, he'll be with you dressed as a dragon
in
his bedroom, live blogging. So that's something to look forward to, isn't it?
Definitely.
Until next time, it's goodbye from us.
Goodbye.